Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Joris and today I'm going to see how CHDVD is doing versus the UBS ETFs SLICHA and CHDIV and the other iShares ETF CHSPI. So the dividend season is over. We received the last dividend for CHSPI and CHDVD in July. And okay, Logitech and I think another company is still going to pay a dividend in September. So UBS is waiting to distribute their final dividend in September for those two ETFs. And I need to say that these four ETFs are only available on the SIX stock exchange. So if you are living outside Switzerland, you can buy these ETFs if you go have access to the Swiss stock market. But if you haven't, I'm sorry, this video isn't really that good for you, but it's still interesting to follow along, of course. So stick around. It's not going to be such a long video. So the first one, it's the SLICHA from UBS, and it's oriented towards the SLI index, and the SLI index here in Switzerland, it's the best 30 companies, the biggest 30 companies on the Swiss stock exchange, and it has a total expense ratio of 0.20%, and currently, and I need to say currently because the stock market is still going, the price is 205.70. The dividend is also distributed in Swiss francs, so if you are living in Switzerland, these four ETFs that I'm mentioning, you can put Swiss francs into it and you will receive Swiss francs back out of it in the form of dividends. There are 30 holdings in it, yeah, because it tracks the SLI index. It's 1 billion that is invested into this ETF, a little bit over it, in fact. It's a fully replicated type of ETF, and the past year it is up 14%. In the past 3 years it's only up 4.22%, and the past 5 years it's up almost 53%. It distributes 5 dividends per year, but you know what this means. It's in parentheses because on the last day it's distributing 2 dividends. You will see that shortly. That's in September. So in the months March, April, and September, it is distributing a dividend, and the total dividend yield, the trailing 12-month dividend yield for this ETF is 2.69%. So in March of this year, the distributions were 0.62 and 0.61, and in April it was 0.56. And for the distributions of September, we will have to wait because, yeah, we don't know them yet. And last year, in March of 2023, these dividends were 0.58 and 0.48 and 0.42. So currently, they augmented their dividend this year so far. So I hope that they are going to increase their dividend as well in September, so that overall in 2024 they are going to pay out significantly more than last year. Then CHSPI from iShares, Blackrock, and it's the Core SPI, that's the total market index here in Switzerland. Total expense ratio of 0.10%, so it's the cheapest one of the ones that I'm going to mention today. Currently trading at 145.46 Swiss francs per share. There are 206 holdings in it. The last time that I mentioned this ETF, there were 210 holdings in it, so it decreased a bit. And there is currently 3.3 8 billion invested into this ETF, so quite a lot. And it's a sampling type of ETF. The performance for the past year is 8.71%. The past 3 years it's down 1.14%, and the past 5 years it's up 34%. It distributes 6 dividends, but on the last day it's again the same. It distributes 2 dividends, so actually you have 5 dividend days where you receive dividends. And the dividend yield is currently 2.85%. So March, the dividends were 0.78 and 0.64. In April, 0.74 and 1.08. And in July, it was 0.36 and 0.54. And if you compare then the year 2023 compared to 2024, then you see that the dividend was slightly increased from almost 4 Swiss francs to now 4.14 Swiss francs. So that's always great news when the dividend that you receive increases year on year. And in this case, compared to 2023, it was the case that it increased. Then we have CHDVD, the ETF that my wife and I buy for our 3 daughters. So it's the SPI Select Dividend Index that it tracks, and a total expense ratio of 0.15%. Currently, it is trading at 161.96 Swiss francs. There are 20 holdings into the index, and there is almost 3 billion invested into this ETF. It's also a fully replicated type of ETF, and the past year it's up 13.04%. The past 3 years it's up 8%, and the past 5 years it's almost up 61%. This one distributes 8 dividends, but once again, the last day distribution of the year, there are 2 dividends on the same day, so 7 dividend days, and the dividend yield is 3.21%. That's the highest dividend yield of the 4 dividends that I'm mentioning today. And here are the dividend distributions for the CHDVD ETF for this year. And if you compare 2023 compared to 2024, then you see that there is an increase with 42 cents, so almost an increase of 10% in dividend year on year. So that's quite nice as well. And then we have the final one, the CHDIV of UBS. It's the MSCI Switzerland EMI Dividend ESG Distribution ETF from UBS. Total expense ratio of 0.20%. The currency on the SIX stock exchange is Swiss francs, of course, and it's 13.0906 Swiss francs currently on the SIX stock exchange. There are 20 holdings in this ETF. It was 23, so I don't know what happened with the other 3. It's tracking the Swiss EMI ESG index, so it was reduced from 23 to 20. There is 23 million invested into this ETF. The previous time that I mentioned this ETF, there was 12 million invested into it, so almost doubling, but still low amount. And it's a sampling ETF. It's still a young ETF, so it's around for almost 1 year and a half, 1 year and 5 months almost now. So I can only give the performance for the past year, and that's 6.22%, and since its inception it's up 7.68%. So actually it's the worst performing ETF so far, and I mentioned them already, all 4, so it's full stop the worst performing ETF that I'm mentioning today. And it only gives out 2 dividends, and it's on the same day in September. So for a dividend ETF, it's really annoying that it only gives one distribution per year, and the dividend yield, it's 2.44%. But if you remember the other one from UBS, the SLICHA ETF, it gave 2.69% in the trailing 12 months. And I need to say it, so the dividend is going to come next month, so in the beginning of next month. And if it is increased significantly, it can be that the dividend yield is bigger than the one from the other ETF from UBS, the SLICHA ETF, but so far I'm really not convinced of this new ETF that UBS started. So how would 10,000 Swiss francs have performed if we had invested into these 4 ETFs in the beginning of the year? So on the 3rd of January of 2024, well, I can go to Getquin for that. So I have CHSPI, SLICHA, CHDVD, and CHDIV. I have them here, and they are all aggregated into this portfolio. So 40,000 invested into them all. You can see the numbers here. So the buy-in, almost 10,000 for UBS, a little bit less than 10,000 for the Core SPI one. The CHDVD one also, yeah, 1 franc less than 10,000, and the same, almost 10,000 for the other UBS one. So the past year, year to date, it is up 8.14% if you would have had 40,000 Swiss francs, and you would have received 809.76 Swiss francs in dividends. So 2% dividend yield so far. But as you know, the dividends still need to come from the CHDIV and a part of the SLICHA ETF. But in the overall performance, those dividends are of course included. So in total, if you look at the total number, we are up 10.2% for the year with this portfolio. And how are they performing individually? So the CHSPI one, so the one with 206 stocks in it for year to date. So that one is up 7.62% right now. And the dividend that it distributed is 306.36 Swiss francs. And that's 3%. So in total, it's up 10.67%, 69% right now, but it's still changing as it is 16:38 right now. So a little bit past 5:30 in the afternoon. So another hour to go on the SIX stock exchange, and then the trading stops. But 10.7%, let's say, for CHSPI. Then we go to the SLI CHA or SLICHA, as I said a few times already. So that one is year to date, it's up 13.45%. So a really great performance of that one from UBS. And if you go and look at the dividends, there you can see that there is a payout of 98.68 Swiss francs so far. The biggest part of the dividend is still to come. You can see that here for this year. But right now, it's of course included into the price gain. So then the price gain will go down as the dividend is detached on the ex-coupon date, and the dividend yield will go up then. But so far, here the total return, it's 14.4% for this ETF. So really nice ETF from UBS. I'm immediately going to jump to CHDIV because I think it's really important to see the difference between this one from UBS and the previous one from UBS. So CHDIV, sadly enough, Getquin doesn't give a nice graph intraday, because their data provider isn't giving the data intraday for CHDVD and CHDIV. But year to date, you can see the graph go up and down. So this one is up 4.38% so far. And if you look at the dividend, yeah, all the dividend needs to be distributed in September. So far, only a return of 4.4% for this ETF. So compared to SLICHA, where we have 14.5% right now, the difference is enormously. So it's really important that you know that. The CHDVD one then, year to date, it's up 7% in performance. And if you look at the dividend that it distributed, so 404.72 francs, so it's 4.05%. So it's actually higher than the dividend yield that I said, but that's of course because the price when I virtually bought the ETF was lower than it is standing today. So the trailing 12 months of 3.24% that I noted earlier in the video is correct, but this one is correct for the buy price that I had when I virtually bought it on the 3rd of January. So in total, this one is up 11.05% for the year. So that's also a quite nice total return. And then another thing that I need to point out, that is, in the past month, we had of course the mini crash from in America, and it had also its waves here in Europe and in Switzerland as well, of course. So when you look at it from compared to the beginning of the month, where it was 10,715, it is down. It went down 551.66 Swiss francs. So yeah, 5% it went down. And then when you go to the SLICHA, the best performing one, and you go look at the 1 month performance, then you see that here at the lowest point you lost 7.83%, or almost 900 Swiss francs. So the fluctuations are bigger, but it also recovered almost completely. So it's still down 1%. And if you look at CHDVD, there it's only down 0.15%. So it almost completely recovered. The other one is still down 1%. But in the end, on the day itself, it is bad. It looks really bad for SLICHA, but if you have time, it will always recover. So the fluctuations are less with the dividend ETF than for a true index ETF that is more focused on the index itself, for the broader market. But in the end, yeah, look at that, only 0.15% loss, and here only 1% loss. And if you look at here, it was only 0.31, so it's going down a little bit today again, but yeah, it's nothing to cry about. Here you can say, man, I lost 8% compared to the amount that I had a few days ago, but yeah, in the long run, here if you look year to date, it's only a small dip. Here you were even lower, so nothing to worry about. And those are the take-home messages that you need to know. So, in conclusion, the SLICHA one is the best performing since beginning of the year. It's up 14% overall. The CHDVD and CHSPI are not far behind with a percentage, total percentage of up being up 11% more or less. And then the CHDIV is occupying the final position with only 4%. And if I would be a customer of UBS, I would put my money in SLICHA for sure, not in CHDIV. I don't understand that ETF at all. If you want a higher dividend yield, you also have to choose CHDVD. And so far, CHDIV doesn't convince me because the trailing 12 months dividend yield is 2.44% compared to 2.69% for the SLICHA ETF of UBS. So if you are a customer of UBS and they want to sell you the CHDIV ETF, just say that you want to go for the SLI CHA because it is performing way better. It is outperforming even CHDVD and CHSPI. CHDVD was the best performing at the end of last year, and at the end of this year I will again give a final update of all the other Swiss Dividend ETFs as well. So there are 7 more, and I will give also a small video, a short video about CHDIV and the SLI CHA at the end of next month when they distributed their last dividend of the year, so that I can see whether or not the trailing 12-month dividend yield is in fact higher for CHDIV or not compared to the SLI CHA. Because it should be that way, because it's a dividend ETF compared to here it's a SLI index ETF. And with that being said, I thank you for watching this video. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Hitting that like button helps out the channel out as well. So if you want to do that, it's completely up to you. And thank you for watching, and see you on the next one on my YouTube channel. Bye.